weather with all this blue that we're wearing, but temperatures right now even still at 101 degrees in Charlotte Douglas International Airport with a heat index value of 107. I mean, it has been toasty once again with round 2 of heat this big. Now, yesterday we did hit that record high of 101, but today we were just shy of that record, which is actually 103. And because of all the above average heat, I did wanted to remind folks we haven't really talked about this as much during our weathercast over the last few days. We've been focused so much, right, on checking on the neighbors, things like that. But remember the pets. Anytime you have air temperatures in the mid 90s, concrete and asphalt can feel between 125 to 140. But with an air temperature at 100, it's even worse than that. So flip the back of your hand over to the ground. If you cannot keep it there for 7 seconds, it's too hot for your dog's feet. Remember, we're not using our palms. That can create calluses, right? If you lift weights or just from working outside, it's the back of your hand that you need to be watching. Again, 5 to 7 seconds at a maximum. It's most likely, if the air temperature though is 100 plus, already, I can guarantee you, probably too hot for your dog's feet. So take those precautions, please, if at all possible. As we look at any opportunity for rain and storms, it's been pretty minimal today. We did have a decent amount of storms earlier across portions of southeastern communities, but right now the only little shower I have is popping up on the northern end of Lake Norman, just east of Claremont. That's right on the edge there between Iredell County and Alexander. And then other than that, we're mostly dry as those storms very quickly wrapped up down toward Chesterfield and Richmond counties. But of course, coming up with better chances for rain and storms by the end of the week, we will eventually see a temperature drop. We'll break down the numbers and how much longer 100 plus is expected to stick around. That's all coming up. Conditions are going to get better by Friday, and today marking 2 days in a row of temperatures at or above 100 degrees at Charlotte Douglas. We haven't done 2 days consecutively, folks, since 2015, so it is the first time in a decade. In fact, I actually moved to Charlotte 4 years ago today, and it's the hottest temperatures we've seen so far. So 2 days in a row of 101. Now, of course, it feels a little bit toastier than that. Air temperature, of course, not just what it feels like outside. You combine the humidity, and we're seeing 108 in Lancaster, Cheraw at 103, Charlotte at 107. Cheraw, though, the hottest spot we had earlier today, they had a peak heat index of 114, pretty typical based on where they live in parts there of the Sandhills. However, 103 is actually after the sensor saw some rain cooled air. So it just goes to show you the expansion of this heat and humidity. Tomorrow is going to be just as hot likely as we were this weekend, but then slow gradual decline as we head into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Anytime you're above 108 to 110, that does prompt the potential for an extreme heat warning. I don't think we're going to see that across the area for this event, at least, because we're just not seeing widespread risk for that. So a few cities here and there, but not everybody. However, I would expect the heat advisory that we've had so far for at least 2 days, I would expect that to at least be expanded through Monday, Tuesday, of course, Wednesday, Thursday likely as well. But you notice big changes heading into Fridays. We're actually going to be tracking a big cool down with more storms, more clouds, and thankfully a break from the 90s. Now, speaking of storms right now, don't have a lot active across the Charlotte area at this time, but you can see pretty good storm activity near the coast there in North Carolina. You can see pushing toward Wilmington, away from Jacksonville, North Carolina, and then toward the Outer Banks. That's because that trough of low pressure that was closer to us yesterday is now toward the immediate coast. Only action we have active right now is toward Mount Ulla. You can see up in Cleveland. That, of course, is in Rowan County. And then we have one tiny little shower here developing between Catawba and Sherrills Ford that's heading toward the northern side there of Lake Norman, just going to be south of Troutman and probably reaching the I-77 corridor if it can hold together within the next hour. Other than that, folks, it's going to be relatively dry the next few days. Just like today, we'll see storms pop up here and there, but it's not going to be widespread. Monday's going to be a bit unique, in which I think the best chance for rain and storms will be after sunset, but again, it's still not going to be crazy widespread. And honestly, at this point, we want rain, right? We don't want too much in a short period of time, but it would be very, very beneficial for some cooling off action. Tuesday, again, kind of rinse repeat forecast where we see a few scattered storms again, but not everybody sees them. Heat impacts at an extreme level today, similar to what we had yesterday, but notice again the expansion of this heat and how long it lasts. This again is the abnormality here. Not only is this heat above average, but seeing such a prolonged stretch is also above average. Here's Monday. As we get into Tuesday, Wednesday, you'll start to notice a small gradual decline here in the widespreadness of course, all of this red shading. But by Friday, that's when we really start to going to see a drop. There you go. Friday. Things are looking much better. I'm honestly very, very excited for August to start because it's not, again, just the heat and humidity. It's also the fact that we're at a risk right now of seeing a flash drought because we haven't had a lot of rain, and it's also going to bring some rain action in. So 3rd day in a row.